afternoon. How are you? Thank you. My name is Dan Mokwena, a husband to one wife, two shop, a father to three handsome boys. So if una bana ba stana before ke tsamaya ntshwara ka bike re bolele. The first one was 27, then Honalwa 21, then the last was 20. Between 20 to 21, what happened? It was winter, so I'm so excited to be here. I was supposed to be in Swaziland today, but I had her I cannot go there. I promised her I'm a speaker somewhere. And but eventually I'm here. And I'm happy to be here. And I want you to help me to greet your spouse. You are blessed to have me. Why? Why am I, sweetie, you are blessed to have me? Why am I saying this? Because, you know, there is no person on earth Okamoratang or Akaoratan just the way your spouse loves you. I think that person I exist. And let us not be fooled. You know, we as men sometimes we have two women in our lives. You have the one in your heart and you have the one in your head. The one in your heart is the one you're married to now. The one in your head is the one you wish you could have married. Thank you. The one in your head is the one that you wish you could marry. And that one in your head, she's so perfect, gaining weight. She's always on the same size. She always respects. She always cooks the best. But the one you are married to, sometimes she feeds you the food that are eaten by gods. Ufisa di joker. We offer the tabel. Burnt offerings. But I'm here to encourage you to say, as much as she can burn the food or she's not good at cooking, you know, sometimes she will put the pap in the middle of the plate and the gravy will be surrounding the pap as if it's Robben Island. And you know, there are small boats, which is the potato and the carrot, which are swimming across. Be wise, just flip the river so that they can come to your side and then you just grab them. There are two ways that builds marriages. I'm sorry. Thank you. Two simple words. I'm sorry. Thank you. Two words, two things that destroy marriages. Pride and pretense. A lot of us, we are so prideful in our relationships, in our marriages, that you feel like you are the best in the relationship. If you think you have married a fool, the person who cannot even make decisions. The first stupid decision she made or he made is to say yes to you. Hello? Because in the Garden of Eden, I'm still waiting for my slides. In the Garden of Eden, God brought all the animals in front of Adam. And the scripture says he could not find what? A suitable mate. Could not find a mate amongst all the animals until they brought a wife. When he saw the wife, he says, now this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. So if you think your wife, you call your wife names to say, you know, this monkey. Guess who's the husband of the monkey? The male monkey. Just guess who's the male monkey because of you have found your mate. Hello. If you are a man and you are married to a woman, if I was supposed to be a woman, now that's deep. Because your wife was taken out of you, not out of her parents. She came out of you. And God presented her to you. It is why rejoicing before the poloso. Right or nali listed the level Mokadi, whoever, but Arabanyala because of God knew they did not come out of us. And they were going to be a misfit. Because how do you know that the woman you're married to is your wife, not your knife? How do you know that the woman you are married to is your wife? It's when she can fit in as a rib that protects you. When a woman is protecting you, you know that she can fit in me. She's my wife. But if you have that woman in your house and she's not a fit where God has taken her out, then she's not your wife. Hallelujah. Because she has to fit there. That's where she was taken out of. So when God brings her back in marriage, she has to fit in there, in that space. And that is why most of your weaknesses are her strengths. Hello? It's because of she has to fit exactly where you are weak. Can we move to the next slide? Almost the notes of my wife. Social media influence. Today we are living in a very rough world. Khala you would compare, you compete, village in your house. Today you're competing with somebody in the US because of social media. In the olden days, you could tell a lie and your wife will believe you until she dies. Not today. For preachers, it's even worse. When you say the title of your message, they just go strictly to Google to check the message, and then they say, Benny Hinn did not put it that way. So you missed it. So today we are living in a very rough world. Who rough out there? Whatever that we are doing, we are competing with somebody across the borders of our country, across the oceans, because of social media. Listen, there's nothing wrong with social media. Social media is just like a tree in the middle of the garden. It has the good and the bad side of it. It depends on which side are you standing of social media. Social media is so powerful and so good, it can market you if you're a person who's in business. It can promote you quickly. Your message can reach a lot of people quickly. But also, there are negative things which are in the social media. And sometimes, we battle to get attention of our spouses because of they are busy on their cell phones. Hello? Not only women, also men. There are men who are addicts, who can fast social media. They are always there. They know everything. They know more about other people more than their own spouses. They know more about what is happening in the world, in USA, than what is happening right inside of their own house. Hello? So we need to be careful. And the worst thing is that, and I'm a person who notices things. You go to a restaurant, you find people are sitting and eating, but they are all of them on their cell phones. Where they should be enjoying each other's company and catching up, they are busy on social media. And then the worst thing is that even when they put the plate, before they can even taste it or share with their spouses to say, oh, this looks good, they just take a picture and throw it on social media so that they can connect to people out there whilst they're busy losing the one here. Hello? So let's be careful. Good as it is, let's use the positive side of it and flee its negative side. Some of us, we even go to our bedrooms with cell phones. Come again? Instagram. You are busy Instagramming. And you're building strong relationships out there, whilst you're busy losing the current one that you have. And the challenge kore hoka wa idibala, who's the first person to run? Ba Facebook aba itlo ro wele ka muntu. The person to run and pull you from the floor is the one who is in the muntu or some moving attention. Let me give an example. Koloi. When it starts to have challenges, it will show a yellow light, a warning light. If you don't pay attention to that light, it will turn red. If you don't, the second light will come, the third, the fourth. Before you know it, the whole dashboard is full of red lights. And what's next? A tow car will come and tow that car to the mechanic. If we don't give attention to one another, there are yellow lights that are flickering. Before you know it, they become red. Before you know it, motuwa jola ka muntlung. Mozalwane ka muntlung ate jolle monate. Because you are absent in your presence. You are there, but you're not there. Are we together? So, the fact that, 4IR is here, we don't have anywhere to run to. The fourth industrial revolution is here. But let's use it for the advantage of the family, for the advantage of the couple. Marriage is honorable above all, on one condition: the bed is not defiled. We are defiling our bed when we bring things into the bedroom that are not supposed to be there. Are we together? So you end up, the person that you married to, for this person now, I got to talk about divorce. I asked a question to say, but if God can appear and say, guys, I am no longer having any problem with divorce. If you want to divorce, you can divorce. There's no problem. And my question is one. How many Christians ba ilo roba lang go khoto tsatsi leo ba emetsa ha bule be wa mathomo mo list lapile ke motho stempe ke bokae ba bang ontse because o tshwere ke Bible fela le hore ba salwane boreng mar truth be told khale le divorce le nontse fela for the sake of bazalwane, Bible, and whoever the friends, maybe sometimes the benefits. Because of every time when you go to Shapan Salibatuna normal, guy. What do I have to start a new life? Next slide. Midlife crisis. Regretting the past failures and fearing future uncertainties. Do you know what's a midlife crisis? A midlife crisis is a border inside of you. It's a fence within you. That you told yourself that at age 40, I must be married, having 2 cars, having a house, 2 to 4 million in the account to float down. Right? Or 39, none of those things are there. Now what do? There are 2 things to do in that borderline. You either okena muri koloton to answer the borderline hor ashi di marketa skolota sta how. They are there. Uditlisite. Then u filele upa go kereng hor bazanar mone mothola modimo absaba nor approve herer re akokoloi le bona ba nontsha koloi herer ntlo le bona absaba zana modimo no as modimo kwena le absa. You have connived so that you may be able to answer the border when you get to the border. When they ask you those things that you have placed, nobody knows that border. It's you alone who know it. And you are busy pressurized to think that people see that border. Nobody sees it. Nobody cares. Then because of you have had things that you were not even ready for. Now you start to fight as a couple. Because do you know, houses and cars, that's called every month. They talk. They ask you questions. Will you be able to pay? And sometimes you can't answer them. That's why people, they play loud music. because they want to silence this voice. Hey, shut up, Wena. And others, you start drinking because of there are things you cannot answer. You are so much under pressure. And now, because of you have failed for 40 years, the failure that only you know about it. You are still afraid to say, what will be the next 40 years of my life? Because of I've already failed. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of fumbles. You've tried businesses. Businesses have failed. How can I get rich quick schemes? Everything that comes away. I remember Kapola meeting on half meeting no living. I'm a said, I get push Kapola. No, I say push. Margot turns to go I get push. When I was Tomonyaga to get push. So when we get to that borderline, we start doing a lot of things so that we can answer the border when it asks us those questions. That is where we get rich quick schemes because of we put on a miracle can happen and then we power grow multi-millionaire and then answer the board. That's the first one. The second option that you can do, because it is only you who knows about the border and none of us know about it. You can push it further. It's in you. You can shift those lines. Give yourself another 5 years or 10 years. And the other challenge is that when people are getting 40 and 50, they think they are now old. There's nothing they can do. No, it's a lie. Old age is in your mind. Old age is in your mind. I'm 52 now. And I can finish my round properly without struggle. Why? Because I'm not under pressure to perform. Hello? If you are under pressure, then you are going to miss it along the way. But I'm not under pressure. I'm just relaxed. I'm doing my thing. No, those kilos are banavanyani. That was when I was still trying to learn my spouse, and try to prove a point. Then I will go the first one, the second, and say, let's come again. Those things, when you are at our age, it's no longer the rounds that are counting. It's quality. One full shot, bah! And maybe because give to us camp, but talk about Morena u suhile. You think they talk about our Lord Jesus Christ? No, Babu Agamoren. And when things are not happening at home, you should listen to the songs of women. Women talk through song. If things are not happening at home, you'll hear Sera sense te morao Sensiti saura pela. Bible says dwell with women with understanding. You should understand your spouse. Like my wife has said, be a learner of your spouse. Learn your spouse. Why should you know more about women and then you don't know your wife? Better know this one person. Let it be your assignment to know this person. Remember, we are evolving. We are busy evolving. The person who used to love flowers, the person who used to love chocolates, you come with sweeter. Hello. So be aware when your wife is busy evolving or when your husband is evolving. Today there are things that are no longer mattering to me. They are no longer important to me. Because of I have grown. I have seen things. I've been around. I've traveled. I had relationships. Last week we were burying one of my friend's father. The guy is a billionaire. Billionaire, you think these are not people. No, they are people. That guy was crying. He was crying. And after that, I said, my friend, I saw you were crying. He said, there's nothing that can replace my father. He brought his helicopter. The helicopter was taking pictures all over during the funeral. But I've noticed that, okay, the greatest gift that God can give you in your life is relationships, not money. Money comes with people. Wealth is good relationships, your health, and your freedom. You have these three things, you have wealth. Riches is the monies, the cars, the whatever. Those are your cup of coffee. They come and go. But wealth is when you have good relationships, when you can be a happy person, even if you are a billionaire, when you make a party, people will come and they still enjoy. What's the use of having billions and you make a party? It's only you alone. You eat all the food, the desserts, mix salad, whatever. You are alone. That is why when God spoke to David, he says, David, ask of me and I'll give you nations as an inheritance. And there's a scripture where Jesus prayed for a blind man and he asked him, what do you see? He says, I see people like trees. Jesus says, this is not a good vision. He prayed for him again. He said, now what do you see? He says, now I see people as people. How do you see your spouse? Because if you see your spouse as a tree, you'll use your spouse as a tree. What do we use a tree for? Yes, as a shadow. During winter, you can chop them and make wood so that you can warm yourself. And that's why other people will say nasty stuff to their partners. You are busy chopping that person and turning them into wood. Out of wood, we can make paper. Out of paper, you can make money. So you see your partner as a source of getting money. Every time you talk to them is when you want something. Outside of that, there's nothing to talk about. A tree can give you fruits. So you enjoy the fruits of the labor of your spouse. And I was clearing a myth in one of my sessions to say, sex is not an issue of men. That is why if that is the mentality that you have, you start to use it as a reward or a punishment. Sex is not supposed to be used that way. Sex is our thing. So there should not be a time whereby when somebody has done good things, that today you are going to get something. No. No, you are selling. Yeah, you are selling. You are selling. This thing, it should be our thing. We should enjoy it. We should plan for it. And sometimes we should be spontaneous about it. It should not be something to fast for or pray for. No. Some men are fasting for it. They go for 21 days fasting. Say, Lord, release those legs. No, you should not be doing that. This thing has to come just as a way of enhancing our relationship. Are we together? So it should not be a man thing. It's our thing. We should all enjoy it. Because let me tell you a secret. If you don't enjoy it whilst you can, there come a time whereby you cannot even do it. Hello? Because you're men switching now, you just sleep on But whilst you can, do it and enjoy it to the fullest. Because also, don't forget, we are going to die one day. The very thing in Nakayon. Those worms, they won't even ask you for it. And the Western, they did not even pay Lobola. They just come in and say, where's the... Now eat that cake without asking for it. The temptations that are facing men in the 21st century, it's women, addiction, and money. The men who are here, you know what I'm talking about. Today we have our wives, they are so beautiful, we love them. But out there, go rough. I attended a funeral, a relative, and my wife when it's some, you know, they wear high heels and then after everything they want pumps now. So she said, could you go and get those pumps for me in the car? So I took the keys. As I went out there were flowers. And fish straight. They are here to fish. You know, as I went out, I felt my knees, they became loose. You know, wisdom is to know your weakness. And not fall into a trap and say, I did not know. I said, no. Then I went back, Arsudi, go and get your shoes, Kokolui. Because out there, rough. Are we together? I was doing a training in Chad. It was a leadership development training whereby we were training the Minister of Petroleum, which is the biggest ministry in the country because they deal with oil. I was there for 2 weeks. And those top leaders, they came to me, they say, we are aware that you are here for 2 weeks. And it gets cold sometimes in the evening. We can organize something for you. Somebody just to keep you busy in the room. Okay? My wife was back home. I was in Chad, almost 100,000 k's away from home. The offer was tempting. Yeah. The offer was very tempting. If you know Ethiopian women, you know what I'm talking about. So I called my wife. I said, sweetie, please increase the hours of prayer. Why? Because we're rough up there. And I could pretend as if Muzalwani or Kwangmullo, but when some things challenge you, you should know where your weaknesses are and run away. So I said, sweetie, it's rough. And we went to Ethiopia before, and she saw those girls. Those are the women that when you see them, you think they were supposed to be in heaven, and they somehow got out of heaven by mistake, and you find them on earth. And I hold my wife, I said, sweetie, there's a race that we must run. And there are victories to be won. Run. Job says a statement in Job chapter 31, verse 1. He says, I have made a covenant with my eyes that I will never look at a woman lustfully. So my wife and I, we are transparent. If something is really shaking me, we talk. Sweetie, please. So the following day on the meeting, before I can make any introductions, as I said, guys, I'm here for 2 weeks and please don't give me offers. I'm okay, I'm married. So that they can leave me alone. Because if you don't do that, they'll still come with offers. And the worst thing, they'll bring pictures. And before you know it, you'll say, I didn't know what happened. So women, we should be careful. Women are a very powerful force. Powerful force. And particularly if a woman knows that she has the power of seduction, she will seduce you. Women are so smart, they know what buttons to touch. Remember the devil. Don't think the devil is a fool. Never be misled. The devil is not a fool. You are not dealing with a fool. The devil was here before your grandfather was born. And before he could wink an eye to your grandmother, he was already in the planet. This guy has 10 years experience in this company. You respect this guy. The devil has more than 6,000 years in the planet. Don't take him lightly. That's Shapa Jude. Number 2, addictions. Now, when we face our midlife crisis and you don't know how to answer the border, some of us, we run to addictions. Alcohol. Some it's pornography. Pornography is in the cell phone right now. You don't need to get a CD like we used to do before, those DVD, those cassettes, VHS. No. Right on your cell phone. I struggled with pornography as a Christian for a long time. I would watch pornography. I would go to church on Sunday and they will start to sing and they'll say, raise those holy hands, and I will raise my hands. And whilst my hands are up, the devil says, not yours. Others can do that, not you. So I struggled until I had to confess to my wife. I said, sweetheart, I'm having a trouble, having a challenge. Here's this thing is really torturing me, it's tormenting me. Then we set borders around it. We say, okay, fine, how are we going to overcome this thing? Then we came up with a plan. So every week my wife will ask me, did you watch it this week? And I had to be honest, because I was tired. So what addictions do, they make you a slave. And you live with guilt. You are not a happy person. Every time that they talk about the issue, you become condemned, you feel like you are so dirty that even God doesn't want to talk to you. I've been there, I know. Struggled with that thing. The day I came out of it completely, I started getting interviews on radio to share about how to come out of this thing. Because the problem with a virus, it will only thrive when it is hidden. The day you expose it, it just dies. It cannot survive where there is oxygen. All right? So it's pornography, it's alcohol. There are so many things. I'm just giving you 2. 3, it's money. You know, when you have failed so many times in business, the enemy organizes something which is not right. Because of your failed so many times and your testimony has expired, you want a new testimony. You fall for everything. A dirty deal comes your way. You fall for it. Because of you want to come up with a testimony. You've been in this thing for too long. You've struggled for too long. You prayed against corruption, but now corruption has come your way. And the presentation is so beautiful. You think, my goodness, I've struggled too much. Anytime I can die, let me just go for this before I die. Nothing wrong with money. Money answers all things on earth. Money has so many names that we need to have so much of it. Because if your child is at school, you pay school fees. That's money. Basically, she wants money. That's money. Or I'm paying rent. I'm paying lobola. I'm paying tithe. All those things, we are talking about one thing. So the way it has so many names, you need to have so much of it. So that whatever comes forth, money can answer. But be careful that it does not become a temptation that leads you astray. And you end up being the person you did not want to become from the first time. Can we move to the next slide? My time is running out now. Now, you cannot pour from an empty cup. This is my solution, my conclusion. You can't pour from an empty cup. A lot of us are so depressed. We are so fatigued because of we trying to give up. We can't trying to give out from our emptiness. You cannot make withdrawals from an empty bank account. You can't jumpstart somebody else's car when your battery is flat. In an aircraft, they will tell you when the oxygen mask fall, put it on you first before you can put it on somebody else. We've been trying to help people, whereas we have nothing. For simple reasons, we don't take care of ourselves. Pastors, it's even worse. Who prays for people who prays for others? Who encourages the encourager? Who's checking the checkers? Who's motivating the motivators? That's why people commit suicide. Now it's even worse in marriage because of you cannot give love to your wife if you don't have it. You cannot give what you don't have. You can't pour from an empty cup. Some of us, our marriages are somewhat demonic fatigue. Whilst you are still fatigued, listen to we bind the spirit. No. Forget about those spirits. You are tired. You are fatigued. You need to have a break. Take time out. Go somewhere with your spouse. Go out for a weekend. And connect to your spouse. Connect to yourself. Some of us, they wear palanko to the auto kateng, and there's no money. Money is there. It's just that we are misusing it the wrong way. Our mind do patela doctor, but you can't pay for your holiday. Then the next thing, for simple reasons. Fatigue, exhaustion. Some of us, we are burnout. Truth be told. Kore mo le moteng wana banong ho ka kra message o ntate re tlile kwa nngwe tshwana le hae mara batho ba teng ana o phelang ka mokoloing kore ka mo hara hapela hore modimo ke a leboga ntate ke a leboga because you are burnout. And that's the trick of the enemy, because of he starts to make you to see your spouse as your own enemy, whereas the devil is your enemy. You are so tired, you are so fatigued, you are so burnt out that you even plan the funeral of your spouse while she's still cooking. That's burnout. Go for a holiday. 2 nights out with your spouse alone. You're not chilling installment. Ka patele kgwedi. Ka founele. Ba ka setse o ba botsa re ke nna ke lembya ba phone re a ke patele kgwedi e ke a holiday le mohatsaka. We want to catch up. Ya tla bona next month. Ba ka setse as long as you phone le ka nako. And just go out for that weekend and have time with your spouse and connect to that person. Because truth be told, as long as you are still there. Are we together? So, let's learn to take care of ourselves. You can never pour out of an empty cup. Some of us, we try to do all things that we can get our hands on. In ministry, in the night prayer, Bible class, the extra lessons, start a business. You are doing so many things. And you're not even effective in one of those things. Because now you become a jack of all trades. And you're mastering nothing out of those things. One of our challenges is that we run after success at the expense of our health and our families. The next thing you have a lot of money, enjoy the same money that you are sleeping on top of. And then there's that to prepare for a decent funeral for you. Because you did not take care of yourself. Let's learn to take care of ourselves. Immediately when you take care of yourself, you'll be able to take care of your spouse. Because that's how it happens. You can't give your wife the best or your husband the best if you yourself are empty and struggling. Unless the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain who are trying to build it. You know, sometimes we forget about God when we're trying to build our stuff. God is there to help us. God is not against you. God is there to give you guidance. God is the one who recharges you. All of us, we have cell phones. Those cell phones can do wonders. You can see pictures of people in USA, in Germany. But if you don't recharge it that night, it won't serve you tomorrow. When last did you recharge yourself? You say, I'm going to recharge myself. I just want to be with me. I want to have my time with me alone. Because if you don't recharge, we are going to run out of battery. You look so beautiful like a cell phone, with all the features that the television can tell us about you, but you will be ineffective. Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. What God says is right. Seek that one. And these are things that people are running and dying for, they'll be added in your life. So most of the time we're running after things instead of running after who God says we are. Because all of us sitting here, we have a purpose. None of us came here by mistake. God brought us here for a purpose, for a reason. There is something that only you can do, and nobody else can do it. That is why we are 8.8 billion living in the planet. Our fingerprints are not the same. Because there are only doors that you can open and nobody can open them. And to the ladies, as I'm closing, take care of your husbands, love them, honor them, respect them. Because out of the 8.8 billion, men are 2.4 billion. And 1 billion is married already. Out of the 1.4 that is remaining, almost 600 million is in prison. 2 million are gays. 1.8 million, they are mad, they are crazy. Go anywhere, with your paper and a pen. Every time you meet a mad person, just tick whether it's a male or female. You'll find out that 90% of mad people are men. 10% is women. And out of those figures, almost 200,000 they are your relatives. So I want a chance. So what am I saying? The scripture is right. The Bible says in the end times, the ratio will be 1:7. 7 women will be fighting for 1 man. So we take care of ourselves, we love our spouses, we make covenant with our eyes, not to look at women lustfully, but women take care of us as well. Help us not to fall into the temptation of asking you to say, oh, Arama 6 year old, who's going to take care of them? Let us not get to there as men. Help us to focus on you. May God bless you.